gonna record, yeah, this first part, and just let me see. I'll go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen, but I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight myself that way for the recording and everything. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm Kristine Shoemaker. I run Shoebox Arts. We're an artist support network based in Los Angeles. I live at the Brewery Art Community near downtown LA. I've been here about 11 years now, something like that. And Shoebox has been around for, it'll be 9 years in like the end of January, beginning of February. And Sheli Silverio is here, and she's my partner in crime at Shoebox. She's my manager. She started out interning and then worked part-time, became full-time, and now is like, you know, it's just the two. It's the two. I shouldn't say just, it's the two of us. We also have Dennis Giri Lopez, who helps with social media, and Emily Wiseman, who is my bookkeeper, my savior. She keeps us like on track, like, okay, you need new clients, things like that. So, but yeah, we're, you know, a small boutique agency, small boutique company, and we're all artists also, all four of us. So, you know, we get it. I wanted to give like a brief history of why I started Shoebox, and then go into like what we do and how we work with artists and the things we offer. And I guess I got my master's degree in 2010, and I have my degree in art and art history. I've taught art history at Pasadena City College and also Antelope Valley College in Lancaster. Art appreciation, African art history, women in art history, Renaissance to present. You know, but I like modern and contemporary is my focus. And I love art history. You know, I'm all in the art world. I used to work in an emergency room. I worked in medical most of my life. I started candy striping, you know, that word is gone, but when I was 14 years old, and I'll be 50 in January. So I was in the medical field up until 2014 or 2015. I don't know, the year is it's one of those years. And so, but my passion's always been art. I've always been an artist, and, you know, I just thought having a day job, I'd be stable, I'd have insurance, you know, and I could do art, you know, other time around, you know, around that. And then what happened was in 2000, I think it was 2000, maybe 2015. Yeah, because I was there 8 years. So something like that. 2015, they changed my hours at work. I was working 3 days a week, 12 hours a day. I would have had to work 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. 5 days a week. And of course, being in the art world, that is not going to work. And I'm not a night person at all. Well, last night we went out, but I was like, normally I'm in bed like 7 or 8, you know, streaming a show, falling asleep at 9, you know, so there's no way I could have done that. So I had already started Shoebox, and I just made the decision to quit my ER job and take Shoebox full time. And so, you know, that's been it. That's been kind of our journey ever since. And we started off doing PR. What happened was I had a solo show at Los Angeles Art Association in 2012, and I didn't do any PR for it. And so, you know, it was a cutting edge show using like virtual reality, virtual worlds back like 10 years ago, almost. Wow. Yeah. 10 years ago now. And, you know, yeah, I mean, we had a good crowd because I was fairly new on social media. So social media helped, but yeah, there was no press or anything for it. So after that, I started studying and researching, going to workshops, panel discussions, taking classes, figuring out like what we need to do as artists, you know, to do the business side, to, you know, get publicity, to get out there, you know, and all of that. And so oh my gosh, all of a sudden my brain went a different direction. So yeah, so I did the workshops, and then a friend of mine was having a solo show at Los Angeles Art Association. And I jokingly said I was working in the ER at the time and I needed money because I've never been very good with money, or I wasn't very good with money. I'm better now. But, you know, so I kind of jokingly said, well, hey, you can hire me, you know, helping him with PR, thinking I could make some extra money. He called me up a week later and he's like, hey, let's talk about this. So we mapped out a strategy. We had 5 weeks to go, got him a little blurb in the LA Times and Huffington Post. And that was it. He was my first client. Within a week, I had the name of my company. It was Shoebox PR. We had our website, a friend designed our logo. I had business cards, social media, and everything within that first week, because I have a hard time being patient. I'm very impulsive. I just jump to things, you know, because I feel like it's now or never. It's, you know, I mean, there are some people, you know, I always say we're in it for the long game, but I'm just like one of those people that if I have an idea, I need to go with it. And Sheli is actually teaching me to slow down a little bit. And to pause.
I think that's why we're a good team.
I know.
You've got the energy to be like, let's jump in, and I'm like, okay, let's ask some questions first, you know.
And think about things, exactly. And so, but yeah, I mean, you know, it was me to begin with, so I had to do what I needed to do. You know, I was thinking extra money, and it was word of mouth. You know, artists that I knew, Los Angeles Art Association, you know, starting to get out there. They started hiring me to do PR for their, you know, solo shows. And then I started, I don't remember the exact timeline, but I started working with artists in a more, support, like management role, where I was helping them kind of with whatever they needed. We'd get together once a month. At the time we were actually doing in-person, or I was doing in-person studio visits, I think, and then, or meeting once a month. And then, you know, once I quit the ER and Sheli was, you know, came on, we were doing studio visits with our artists once a month, once every couple of months. And then we, you know, and it was just kind of helping them with their needs. We used to run artist social media. That's since changed because the art world's evolved, social media's evolved, and we find that, you know, artists doing it themselves in their own voices is more organic and authentic and gets more out there, you know, gets them out there more. And so, yeah, just over the last, you know, few years since we've been in business, we have changed, we've evolved, based on artist needs and based on the changing art world. We brought in speakers, like we started doing this right before the pandemic, actually, where we were going to artists or to like galleries. We went to Charlie James Gallery in Chinatown. We went to see, to talk to Jillith Moniz at Transformative Arts. And they talked about the shows and then kind of behind the scenes of running a gallery, art fairs, you know, curating, how they find artists, all of these things. And then of course the pandemic hit. And so we brought it to Zoom. And so once a month we meet with speakers. Yesterday we had Jeannie Denholm, who runs Scape Space down in Newport Beach. She's an art advisor. So she talked with us on how she works with her clients who are collectors and corporations and, you know, organizations. You know, she collects work for collections, and she used to work for the Broad Foundation, and it was just like fascinating to learn like the inner workings. So that way we want our artists to know, like, you know, they have options. You know, it's not like the myth of gallery representation is a myth. It's like there's so many more paths out there to take, so many more options, so many, you know, so many things we could do. And I always say, like, you know, some people say the galleries are the gatekeepers, but I believe the artists are the gatekeepers of the art world, because without artists, there is no art world. You know, and so it's like we have, you know, we have the power, you know, depending on how we use it, to get ourselves out there and to do what we want, whatever. And that could be gallery representation, or that could be forming a collective, or you know, curating an exhibition, or sending out exhibition proposals, you know, to museums and colleges, and, you know, things like that. So it's like we hold the power. It's just, you know, that's what we do, is kind of help artists find that power and that confidence, and, you know, and the tools, because a lot of artists don't know, you know, these things. They don't know that you can send exhibition proposals to, you know, colleges. my exhibition perceived me that traveled throughout the pandemic, I sent emails out, I sent proposals out, to these spaces that I did know the people. So Jeannie yesterday said, and I love this, and I knew it, but it was good to hear it in this way. She's like, the art world is a relationship business. It's like, it's all about relationships in every aspect of the art world. And so I had relationships with these spaces already, from going to the openings, from supporting them, posting, their shows on social media, from, just like supporting them. And so when I sent, proposals, they already knew who I was. And it was, if it fit with what their programming, then, they were accepted. And I think we had 6 out of like 9 accepted. And one of them, the pandemic happened and they decided to do different things and stuff. But yeah, so, which was an amazing thing. So, so yeah, I mean, so we've, our menu of services has grown and got smaller and grown and got smaller throughout our life of running Shoebox, because again, we're trying to like figure out what artists need, how to work with artists. One of the struggles that I've had is, I want to help all artists, and a lot of artists don't have the budget, for like professional development, for for like working with a manager or doing PR, or they don't have much of a budget. And I mean, I don't, for a long time, like I said, I've never really been good with money. And thankfully my bookkeeper has saved my life that way. But I get it, if I don't sell paintings, or, I need to pay my employees, or, it's like, and as an artist, you run a business too, but it's like, I'm also learning myself. I am also, everything that I teach my artists, I learn, I learn by teaching, about setting aside money, for a budget. I don't really put myself, like my paintings, out there as much. I'm like, oh, I need to do that. So I need a budget for that. I need to figure out how to do that and stuff. So, so we, like during the pandemic, especially, when, a lot of artists, a lot of people lost work. We started some free programming. We started our call and response, which was, it's more of a curatorial program. That's where we paired up artists and they created work every 24 hours and exchanged and for over 2 weeks. And then we had like an online exhibition at the end. And that, it was free. You didn't have to, all you had to do was sign up. And that was it. And I paired artists. It's international, which was amazing. We even have a couple of artists from Ukraine participating, which is, wonderful. One of them was actually signed up to be here today. But so we did, and we're going on round 18. So it was almost monthly, and then we took a couple of breaks in there. And so we're going to bring it back in the spring, probably February, March or something. So we're going on round 18 with that. We started our free peer mentorship program, which is where we pair up artists and they mentor each other. And so, and it could be you meet once a week for accountability, you look over each other's artist statements, you set deadlines for each other, you text each other. I always talk about like bumper guards, and I don't talk about it too much, but I talk about it sometimes. Like setting up bumper guards, it's like, okay, I'm going to text you, I'm working on my artist statement, and then I'm going to work on it, and then text again when you're done. It's like, because oftentimes we procrastinate, we get distracted, things come up. And so having somebody that you're accountable for, is an amazing thing. And, I mean, we started that, I think I saw it was September of 2021. So it's been over a year. And I know some of those pairings are still working together. They still get together. And that is just so heartwarming, to know that like I've helped create these friendships, and I've helped create these like, just support networks. Like I've helped start to build, their other people's support networks. And so, and that's still going, that's free to sign up. It's, totally free. And I've had artists who continually sign up if like their partner isn't able to do it anymore and things like that. So, we recently have updated our membership. We have a membership. And so we used to work with artists. We had one kind of one package, and it was where we met with artists once a month on Zoom for an hour, and one-on-one individual mentorships. Sheli and I would meet with the artist. And we also have where we would meet in groups, like 4 times a month. We would have our speaker, we would have a critique group, which we've recently changed to, like, we call it an incubator, where you can bring art to look at, but you can also bring a project that you're working on that you may want feedback about. We have our artist meetup, which is just like a free-for-all, or you could bring questions, anything you want to talk about. We, just, it's free for all. Well, it's all open. And then we have, we had what I called the toolbox review, but I'm kind of changing that to more of a workshop format. We were going over specific things like Instagram, artist statements, bios, and looking at specifically at our artists like Instagram and saying, okay, how about, making sure your name on Instagram matches Facebook. Make sure use Linktree on Instagram, because then you could put several links in there. Things like that. And so, and these are all, most of these are recorded. They go in a private Facebook group that we have, so you can go back and watch the recordings. So, including our speakers, as of a few months ago, we started recording those too. Some of the speakers didn't want to be recorded, and so, we value their privacy and things like that. But, so we're basically doing the same thing. And we also, let's see, we send a call for art list out every 2 weeks. Let me see. We do like help promote our artists on social media. We're updating that. We were sharing their work on our social media, like sharing their posts, but we're actually changing that probably in January to where we're going to do artist spotlights, because the algorithms of social media change all the time. I don't think it likes it when we repost, and so we want to do original content. And so by doing artist spotlights, we're able to share a few images and a slide thing like on Instagram, and we're going to ask like a specific question for you to answer. And then also we're going to do like 15-20 minute live studio visits with our artists in your studio. So you can talk about what you're working on at the moment, how it's going in the studio, things like that. And so, and those will also help in the algorithm, and those will help, get our artists out there too. So yeah, that's happening. Let me see what else. I know, I want to make sure I'm covering everything. Let's see. We're also, we've been doing it kind of, it was like a add-on type thing. That it wasn't in our menu of services, but it's been really successful. So we're also doing a studio visit exchange. So we pair our artists up with another artist, another in the membership, and you do virtual studio visits. And so, you can share what you're working on in the studio, and then the other artist will at a different time. They're normally like 45 minutes to an hour long, or however you want, really. And so that way you get to meet another artist, and also you get practice on talking about your work. And, and I mean, that's an important thing, telling your story and also getting feedback on your work, which is always really important. So that is that was, and actually I kind of like I didn't mix it up, but I put it all together. That was what we did before. And we're charging $500 a month for all of that. What we're doing is splitting it up. So you can either do the group, do everything that's in the group, everything that I mentioned, except for the one-on-one. And so we're splitting it up so you can pay for that separately if you want. And so our artist membership starting January 1st is $250 a month. And that's, to become part of our community and to get, the one-on-one help. You meet with us. We're going to be meeting weekly on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so you'll, be seeing us once a week, along with like our Facebook group, where we ask questions, we share opportunities. We, you know, are the other artists ask questions. You can share events, and because that's how we like build each other up, by going to, you know, helping each other and going to our events and things like that. So it's all about building community, building your support network, you know, of other artists. And it's so cool because we have, you know, several of our artists, like they go out to openings together and stuff now. And it's really cool to see and to know that we also did that. You know, we help bring people together. And so we also, so we do our one-on-ones separately. So you can, even if you only wanted to do that and meet with us one-on-one, you know, if you need advice about an upcoming show or a project you're working on, or, you know, specifically something you're dealing with social media, you know, yeah, so you could do that, or you could do them together. And, you know, like we were doing before. And so, you know, it's like a package, and we're giving discounts for different things. And it's on, I know Shelley's been putting in the website, in our website in chat. So you can go to our website and everything's listed with the pricing and everything. But we're also doing PR for exhibitions. And that's on the website, from sending out press, or writing a press release, sending it out, doing calendar listings, helping with social media. We have like all the way from just writing the press release to a full PR package. And then, yeah, I think like, and we will be holding some more workshops in the new year also. We just had our workshop yesterday, which is on our website under workshops, if you missed it, on PR for artists. And so you can actually go and see, like, if you have an exhibition coming up, everything that you need to do to promote your exhibition. It's all there, and it's free through the end of the year, along with two of our other websites, networking for the socially anxious artists, which, you know, a lot of us are, including me. I admit it. I'm both an introvert and an extrovert. So I'm good here, but sometimes get me in a room where I don't know anybody and it's like I want to leave. You know? So and then also a photography for artists. So like photographing your work, do's and don'ts of that. That workshop is also on the website through the end of the year. So you can see that too. And it's free. It's on YouTube also. So, but I think, is there anything else that you can think of, Shelley, that I missed or?
No, I don't think so. I think we hit everything. I'm curious if anybody has questions.
Yeah, before we get there, because I'm going to stop recording when we do the questions, but yeah, I mean, if it's something you're interested in, you know, you can send us an email, and Shelley will put the email address in chat. And, you know, we'd love to talk to you and talk about, you know, how we can work with you. And yeah, and let me see. Thank you all for being here. You know, I'm saying that before I stop the recording.